Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the WRRAP Podcast with me, Lee G. Joining me as always, Jamie and Harley. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
And missing from tonight's podcast is James, because he's making the most of daddy time, looking after baby, doing family things, putting baby down, walking away, coming back, baby's still there, pick it up, give it a cuddle. Best time ever. And then they start crawling and shitting everywhere and puking.
Like on the doormat. That was
yeah.
fun. That was a fun Friday.
Where's your best place that you've been puked on? What's the best puke that you've had?
I've been quite lucky with it. Like Fleur wasn't a particularly pukey baby, but she did have some. And whenever she did go bad, it was usually all over herself. So like there's one where she was just sort of lying there, smiled, puked, and it was like a little water. You know those little water fountains, but they sort of bubble over the top. It was like that, just all over her face. She had this wonderful sort of like facial and things.
Nice.
So that's first time me and I was allowed out on my own with the baby. I can't remember which chapter. I think it was a work thing. Absolutely fine. Both ends. Just I dropped the baby in to see people in work. Got put in the car. Drove the half hour back to the house. I was like
covered in it.
I genuinely contemplated binning the car seat and buying a new one. In the end, we managed to wash it out. But
what about you, Jane? Where was your best puke?
I was very lucky. Megan never puked on me.
Really? That's not fair.
I was lucky. I was very lucky. I know.
We went to a christening, a family christening, and I got two suits. I got like a work suit and then like a slightly better funeral, christenings, weddings suit. So I said, "Oh, it's only a family wedding." So I put the work suit on. And the wife's like, "No, it's a christening, right? Okay, christening suit on." And when you pick them up to put them in the car seat, and you kind of pick them up and put them on your shoulder here, like that. So I like that. All down the back. Right, okay. So jacket off, lovely to right. Okay, fuck it, we haven't got time. Jacket there, right? Got to the other end, took him out. All down the back of the suit, and we were back of the shirt, yeah. And we were late anyway. So I had to walk into the church with those muslin squares. I had to like wipe it all off and then put like a muslin square wrap over the right hand side there, and just told the baby, the baby's puked. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll carry on. Anyway, enough of that.
Thanks for sharing, Ali.
That wasn't on the list of topics to discuss this evening, by the way. Right, let's do drink of the week, boys. Jamie, what have you got for drink of the week?
Yeah, so I got a Tiny Rebel classic. I've had this be on the pod many times. It is, of course, Kutch. I love the can design of this. It's such a great design, isn't it, for YouTube watchers, obviously. What to say about this? A Tiny Rebel classic. I love it. I was going to have lager, but I didn't fancy it. The weather's a bit shit. I feel in a bitter mood. So, I've gone for Tiny Rebel Kutch. That's my drink of the week.
Nice. Harley?
So, so this is part of my sort of like trying to find something I hadn't had before in Morrison's can. So this is a Piñata. So it's sort of a tropical pale ale. And this is what it looks like.
I like the look of that. I like the look of that.
I was saying off there to Jamie that I think he'd really like this. I've tasted it though. It's a bit of a poor man's Club Tropica. It's similar mango-y tropical fruits, but it's all right. 4.5%. Not my usual go-to.
It looks like orange squash, boys. That's what it looks
Something
like.
wrong with your orange squash, mate, if it's looking like that.
It looks good. I love that sort of thing.
Well,
it's all right, but it's not. I probably wouldn't choose this again.
No.
Do you find that we're at the end of the season and you're very limited in your choice of what you can actually? I've done that one. I've done that one. I've done that one. I've done that one. You find that we might shop somewhere else this week just in case I might find a beer that I haven't actually drunk, which kind of explains mine. So Mine is a pre-mixed pina colada, and I don't
Ooh.
care, right? Because
That's exotic for you, Lee, isn't it?
So I really do like a pina colada, and when they come in, like you can, this is a thing from Tesco's, and yeah, it's like being back in Mexico, and I can just like sit there, watch the sunset, and I go, oh, fuck it, I don't care. I don't care. And my wife said to me, do you realize how gay you look drinking pina colada from a palm tree thing in like watching the sunset? And I don't care. I genuinely don't care. Question me as much as you want. I'm having a pina colada out of a giant palm tree. Fine. Let's end the season, boys. And it tastes like pina colada is what it tastes like.
There you
So
go. So
That's
cocktail
my
week
favourite
next week.
cocktail.
yeah.
I love a
Sunday.
pina colada. That's my favourite cocktail as well.
Yeah, I used to have the in Mexico, just crushed ice with just like almost like a slush puppy pina colada. Oh, minted. Anyway, news desk. Let's do rugby stuff quick. News desk.
News desk, right. Let's start with some breaking news then that happened just before we came on here. So, Mason Grady has signed a new deal with Cardiff. Great news for Cardiff and Welsh rugby. So, 42 Cardiff appearances, scoring 10 tries, and has won 11 international caps. So, if he had moved away from Cardiff, he wouldn't have been eligible for Wales because he wouldn't have met the threshold of 25 caps. Of course, it's really good news, not just for Cardiff, but for Welsh rugby as well. Harley, initial thoughts on that? It's a big boost for Cardiff, this, isn't it?
Well, for the audio only listeners, I spent about the last 10 seconds whilst Jamie was doing that news just waving my arms in madly because I'm so happy we have a midfield we definitely have a midfield for next season. So that's the first prospect. But also, we're sort of building a game plan, and Grady was a player that when Matt Shett was on the Central Pod, he name checked quite a few times. So I think he's a key part of his plans moving forward. So I think if we couldn't have retained him, that'd have been a huge setback for us. Give us some go forward in the midfield. I think he's probably not. He hasn't quite in attack. At least he hasn't quite moved to 13 as well as we'd like, particularly how well he played on the wing. But his defensive work at 13 has been getting better each game, which is great. It's great. He's still young guys. He's got plenty of time to learn. Hopefully, we won't end up with years and years of Lee's rants about how we can't defend the 13 channel like we've had with a certain Mr. North.
I think Grady's quite decent at 13, to be honest. I genuinely do. He does have a brain about him that kind of goes, he does look beyond that first line of attack. And, it does take time to develop that. It takes time to get into that defensive system. So that was going to be my question to you. Do you play him at 13 or do you play him at 11 or 14? Yeah? Where'd you play him?
That's the question, isn't it? Where's his best position?
It's a bit of a complicated one. I think for Wales, he's unfortunately, I think we might have to play him at 13 just because of the lack of other options. But I'd probably be playing him wing for Wales, but for Cardiff, just keep playing him at 13 because the more game time him and Ben Thomas are going to have at 12 and 13, the better they're going to get as a combo. Like the last couple of seasons, the reason why Halaholo and Lila were basically unplayable is because they just basically had this instinct and they always worked together, whether it was in attack or defense. So I think you've just got to keep playing him there, give him regular game time. I think that's one of the things that was an issue with George North, was we were trying to move him to 13, but because of things at the Ospreys, he was needed more on the wing than in the centre, and it just never. And then he was never paired. Him and his partner Nick Tompkins, the main centre partnership, they would get like a quarter of training time in Wales camp. So again, it took a lot longer for them to build up a partnership. So yeah, cool. I think keeping it 13 for now.
What else have we got then, Jim?
More good Cardiff news. So Alan Lawrence has agreed a new long-term deal with Cardiff. So if you remember, he was released by Cardiff. He went to Jersey Reds, didn't he? And then he returned back to the club in November following the demise of Jersey Reds. He had a short-term deal to begin with that was going to expire at the end of the season, but he's now put pen to paper to remain at his home club. He's had some really good appearances, especially against the Sharks recently as well. So that's good news for Cardiff fans. I know there was a big clamour from the supporters about getting him signed to a permanent deal, and they've done that now. So that's good news for them. And then listen to the Scrum Fight Pod today, and Matt Sherritt said that Callum Sheedy's injury is not as bad as it looked. So the fly-off is expected to make a full recovery in time for next season. Sherrod said it's not like an ACL or anything like that. It's probably going to be like an 8-weeker. So everything will be fine for next season. So he should be fine for the start next season. So that's a big boost for Cardiff because that looked like a very nasty injury, didn't it? But no, he is going to.
Yeah, it's looking like potentially 6 months.
Mm. But
And
it's
like,
not going to
given
be
how
as bad.
Cardiff's fixtures go, we get front loaded with easy fixtures. So actually having as good a squad as possible for the start of the season is really important. Is probably more important for us than a lot of other teams because we don't, otherwise, so our must-win games are basically always at the start, and then it's almost bonus territory. Like I said, it'd be nice going away to Shah. It's nice going away to Ulster and Edinburgh and places like that without needing the win. Whereas that's sort of the shit creek we've been up this season.
Indeed. Okay, so that's all the good news from Cardiff then. Staying in the East with the Dragons. So they've confirmed that forwards coaches, as expected, of course, Luke Narroway and Methven Davis are leaving at the end of the season. So Sam Hobbs, who has been the Dragons Academy head coach and the forwards coach for Newport IFC and the forwards coach for Wales under-20s, is expected to be named Dragons' new forwards coach. And then today they've announced that they're going to have a pre-season friendly against Bristol at Clifton RFC. So that's going to be on Friday, September the 6th. Kick-off 7:30 p.m. Tickets will be available on the gate, £10 for adults and £5 for under 12s. That's good value, isn't it? Might be worth going along to that one, I think.
When does the season kick off then? I thought it was first weekend in September, but I got that wrong, obviously.
It'll be first or second week of September this year because now we haven't got the World Cup in the way. So hopefully it should be a little bit more. Everything should fall a bit more normally.
Yeah, absolutely. Right then, Scarlet's news. Hello, is it me you're looking for? Yes, said the Scarlets. So they have signed Welsh qualifying Nottingham fullback Ellis Mee. The 20-year-old who can also play wing was named Nottingham Player of the Season in his first season in the Championship. That's an interesting sign, isn't it? And today they've announced the sign of highly rated, not the words of Wales Online, the words of the Scarlets, highly rated Australian lock Max Douglas. That's a running joke. In case anyone's wondering us about, that's a running joke with us lot. 24 years old. He stands at 6'7", big guy. Completed his second season with the Yokohama Cannon Eagles in Japan. And he will compete with the Tongan pair of Sam Lousi, Fafafifta, along with Morgan Jones, Jack Price, and Alex Craig for a place in the Scarlet starting 15. That's some pretty good depth they got now the second row. What do you make of those signings then, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, fullback, we are a little bit light, given that we've released 2 internationals over the last 2 seasons and not really filled that with any great depth. So it's good to see younger players coming through. Yeah, and second row is part of where we've struggled. It allows Fafita to focus on back row. We'll probably see Lousi slipping into 6 more often now as well when we need to, when we're up against some big bulky teams. So yeah, it's front row is where we're weak. That's where the real deficit is at the minute. So yeah, I don't really know much about them, to be honest, because it's not like they're big names, but that's the situation we're in. It's about finding players who might not have that massive price tag, but if they come in and they give the role, then they'll get 100% support from all of us. So yeah, good to have them on board. Good to have anyone on board at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the Ospreys, there's not a lot of news. Lance Bradley was on Radio Wales last weekend, and he basically confirmed what we already knew, that it's going to be between Swansea or Bridgend for the Ospreys' new ground. He said they aim to move from the Swansea.com stadium in time for the start of the 2025/26 campaign. Bradley says a final decision will have to be made reasonably quickly and will be taken by the Ospreys board, with the chief executive compiling a list of pros and cons of both options and making a recommendation. And he said either option would be good. But what's made the headlines is his comment about the Welsh regions, the future of the Welsh region. So he said that Welsh Rugby is committed to 4 professional sides. So he said, the plans we are going through, and we had a meeting with the WRU on Wednesday, the absolutely clear assumption we are working towards is still having 4 professional clubs. So he's absolutely adamant that going forward, Wales is still going to have 4 professional clubs. So I don't know if you've got any thoughts or comments on that.
I have, but I'll let Harley go first on that.
Well, first of all, I don't know which bit we want to discuss more about. Discuss first whether we want to talk about the Ospreys brand. My only real thought on that is Swansea is probably the most obvious thing, being sort of the large population centre of that region. If you move it to Bridgend, it's too close to the Cardiff, and then we're just going to be hearing merger talks every other week, as opposed to every third week, and I can't be asked with that nonsense. As for the 4 regions, I think it's good to hear that at least all the CEOs and chairs of the 4 clubs are keen to keep 4 regions. As we discussed last week on the pod, I feel like Nigel Walker was sort of pressed into that, saying, "Oh well, all options are on the table," because all options have to be on the table until they're officially ruled out. I wish they would just rule out, just to say, no, we've just got to go on the assumption we're not dropping one, and just say, look, we can't. It's just too complicated. All the businesses trying to untangle a mess. I'm still very cynically of the opinion that they're purposely trying to wind us all down and just see who breaks first. By making these funding decisions late. But I think until the regions can operate without any money from the WRU and that becomes a bonus, we're always going to be in this hand-to-mouth thing. The problem is that money is for us running their academies and regions and for Wales players. Whether you think the system's fair, being done fairly or not, that's basically what they say the money's for. It's supposed to be a payment for services. And a lot of the arguments are, well, the regions keep providing their services, we keep putting up academy teams, and we keep providing players for Team Wales, and they have all the access they could possibly want. Sometimes to very much to our detriment. For the nonsense of, Pivac taking all three senior loose heads from the Ospreys. Gatland routinely takes two loose heads or two tight heads from the Scarlets, plus their both 2 sets of starting halfbacks. It's proper shitty, and you can tell it's just sort of they don't want to make a difficult decision, so they're trying to make us do it for them. Yeah, frankly, every time I talk or think about this nonsense, I get just depressed, to be honest. Let's be fair, I'm a Cardiff fan. It's been bad enough season as it is without having to talk about this shit.
Lee?
So, yeah, I mean, on the first one, Swansea is the obvious place, but the travel to Swansea needs to be massively upgraded, as does the travel to the Scarlet. Both stadiums, the train station is the other end of town, and it's not convenient for fans to just arrive, a couple of pubs, and all that kind of stuff. So it will happen. I think Swansea is probably where it's going to end up. There are issues in terms of the geography of that particular site, but there isn't a better option at the minute. They said that when they knocked down Morva, why they rebuilt it the way it did, they did when they rebuilt Morva as the Ospreys Stadium. I don't know, but yeah, I can see them coming to Swansea, but there needs to be a lot more investment in Swansea and Llanelli in terms of let's get more people on a train to the game rather than everything else.
Well, even the buses that the Scarlets put on, that's quite helpful. So even if they're doing a shuttle from Swansea Station.
Yeah, it is.
One good thing is Swansea City Council seem really keen to say that they're interested in it as a partnership for their bid.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will help with that sort of thing.
Well, speaking as part of Swansea City region, I'm going to not say anything. So, and how much of the fun
local politics of councils?
Exactly.
When it's a big team, they usually will do a little bit. Although saying that,
yeah, it is.
Cardiff's experience with the city council there is a interesting one.
Part of the whole Swansea City, we're part of the Swansea City funding area, and we get. I go to Swansea now quite a lot, and the amount of development in the last 2 or 3 years since the Swansea City deal, massive. The amount anywhere else, maybe not so much. So yeah. Anyway, and then 3 regions, 4 regions. Stick to 4. Stick your balls on the line, saying we're sticking with 4 until the end of 2030, and you've got until the end of the 2030 season to prove to us that you can make a good go of it. End of. Yeah, that's the end of the deal. That's the end of the 6-year deal. We'll review it at the end of 2030. Nothing changes till then. Yeah, and boom, that's what it is. Somebody needs to come up and show a bit of leadership in a WRU, yeah, that actually says, do you know what, this is what we're going to do. And as fans, we need to say, do you know what, bollocks to that. We're going to go to the games. We're going to spend our money at the games. We're going to support the clubs, and we're going to do it en masse. We're going to go, right, okay, let's get in there and realize that this is at that time where we need to step up as supporters now and just go, right, okay, let's put our money where the mouth is. Stop the moaning, stop the whinging, stop the why haven't we got mega superstars and all of this kind of stuff. You've got what you've got. Go to the game, support your team, and enjoy the day. Yeah, and the more you enjoy the day, the more other people will come, and the more they will enjoy the day, the more money goes into the club, and the more likely it is that all 4 sides will have superstars at some point in the future. I just think we're in that bit where we just got to, as supporters, support. That's my bit.
Yep.
Relax.
Okay,
Got it out,
good stuff. Right. Last bit of news then for me, some broadcast news. So Wales's clash with South Africa in Twickenham next month is going to be shown live on S4C. So S4C has secured exclusive coverage of the Springboks clash, while still show highlights of the 2 matches against the Wallabies. Sky Sports will have live coverage of those games. It will also broadcast live coverage of Wales women's crucial match against Spain on June the 29th, as Johan Cullenham's side look to qualify for the WXV2 tournament in South Africa this autumn. So it's going to be on free-to-air, don't need subscription. That's good news for those who don't have any subscriptions to sports channels. So good work, S4C. I don't know if it's English subtitles. They haven't, English language commentary. They haven't clarified that, but the good news is, for those who don't have subscriptions, it's going to be on free-to-air.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that it, James? Is that news of the week done?
That is all the news done. Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Have we got Wales winning their fixture against Spain?
I know. I mentioned that.
Are you asleep,
that, so-
Holly?
He literally just said that.
No,
literally just said
the
it,
sound
mate.
cut out my headphone. I just lost it.
Don't give me that shit. You were on Twitter and you were looking at something dodgy on Twitter and you're going, yeah, I'll wait till Jamie's finished rabbiting on and then I'll pipe up with some shit about Spain. That's what I'll do, isn't it? Yeah. Caught out again, man. Right, let's move on. Before we move on to rugby stuff, now those of you watching on YouTube will notice the T-shirt, the Manscaped T-shirt here. And so all the pods this week and next week are sponsored by Manscaped. So not all of the gear has arrived. So that's why not everybody's got it and all that kind of stuff. I'm one of the lucky ones. I've got a postman that delivers on a Tuesday, which is why my Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra was delivered today, gents. Yeah. Now then, it is described as a groin and body hair trimmer, which worries me a little because I'm of an age where that just didn't exist when I was a little lad. So yeah, it's got a load of crap on the back there. So I thought, what I do, you've seen it on YouTube where they do the let's open it and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, genuinely like closed box, and that's how you open. As a Father's Day present, just getting this would be top notch as a Father's Day present, just because it right, so you open it like that, and it's got a little presentation box like that. Oh, I'm liking this already, boys. And then, yeah, it's a little zippy thing, right? Little zippy thing there. And then this is your trimmer in there, boys. And that's your. Oh. Oh, stop. Oh, it's got a light. Oh, stop. There we go. So that is the lawnmower, and you got some like other stuff in here and like attachments and this, that, and the other. And I have not got a clue what it is for. I am not of the generation that does this, right? So check back with us next week, and I will give you a full review of what the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra can do, what it does do, what it doesn't do, what it's good for, And if you're looking for a Father's Day present, then we'll give you a 20% discount voucher off. Which, if you want to go onto it now, just write this down. It's called Rugby Balls is our voucher code and all of that kind of stuff. You put that in, that gives you 20% off. But I'll share all of that on socials later in the week when we've all got some stuff and we can do some fun. James was a little bit worryingly excited about this being delivered. I'm genuinely concerned about what James is going to shave, what James is going to do on social media, and just how graphic that is going to be with James on there. So anyway, that's Manscaped sponsors for this week and next week. More stuff coming next week. Okie dokie. Let's actually talk rugby balls. Let's talk Judgment Day, gentlemen. We have reached the final round of the season. We're at the sexy place where it's just Scarlets and Dragons. It's the one game of the season I fucking hate, Jamie, as you know well. Ospreys Cardiff. Yes, it's in Cardiff Shitty Stadium, but at least it's still going ahead. So, do you want to kick off then, Jamie? Scarlets and Dragons, thoughts, expectations, hopes, dreams? What are you hoping for?
Oh dear. I mean, both of these teams have had wretched seasons, haven't they? For very different reasons. You look at the Scarlets, they had a really tough opening start to the season, didn't they? They had to go to South Africa, they got pummeled, and they haven't really recovered since. There's coaching appointments I don't think have worked out. Question marks over Dwayne Peel's future. A lot of criticism about the running of the board. I know they've had a reshuffle now of roles, and supporters have said it's like reshuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic. So they've had a very tough season. The Black Lion lost at home, becoming the first Welsh region not to pick up a single point. It's been a really tough season. I'm sorry to bring this up. I just bring up the facts.
This is from the balanced one, mind.
Do you know what? Yeah, I was thinking we'll have
supposed to be the balanced one of us all.
I thought we'll have a
I
little
am the
bit
balanced one. I'm giving you facts, boys. If what I'm saying is not wrong, is that I'm giving you facts. I'll talk about the Dragons in a bit, but I'm just saying that these two teams have had really tough seasons. So yeah, it's been
I
a
need more
tough
pina
season,
colada, man. Jesus, carry on.
I'm sorry to bring it up, but the point was it's been a tough season for the Scarlets. As for the Dragons, it's been the same old story, isn't it? We're hoping they kick on. The reduction in budgets on a level playing field. We're all hoping the Dragons can kick on a little bit and try and narrow the gap between the other teams. It hasn't happened. Missed opportunities this season. We've got to look at the games we played against Edinburgh at home, Cardiff, Connacht. Those were winnable games. They win those games. That would have given them 6 wins in the league. And then you got Europe, missed opportunities against Po, missed opportunities against Zebra, could have and should have been in the last 16 of the Challenge Cup. It hasn't happened. Going into the season without the defence coach was always going to be a gamble. Unfortunately, it hasn't paid off. It's just been missed opportunities, the same old story, isn't it? Weak scrum, compounding errors. It's been a season to forget for the Dragons. It does look like they're going to finish 15th again, unless Zebra can pick up 2 match points from Glasgow, which is unlikely to happen, but who knows in rugby, it's a strange game, isn't it? So, I think the Dragons are probably where they deserve to be. Until we learn to be better, we learn to be smarter, learn to put in an 80-minute performance, then we're always going to be a bottom 2 team. So, look, it's been a tough season for both teams, and both teams will want to win to finish the season on a high. So, I don't think Dragons got anything to fear. We've beaten Scarlets a few times over the years in this fixture. We do enjoy Judgment Day. It's only since 2019. You say, we always win, but we don't. It's only since 2019 the Dragons have, come on top in this fixture. Before then, they lost every game. They didn't win a Judgment Day fixture until 2019. We beat them at Rodney Parade already this season, of course, but, let's be honest. Sam Costello, he missed that kick right in front of the post in the end. That proved to be the difference. So maybe he was a bit lucky that night. But I just thought it was a good game and a good day out. And I really want to win. The wife is coming with me to Judgment Day. She's a Scarlet supporter. She's got a Scarlet's top ready. for this fixture. So yeah, I really don't want to gloat in wife on the way home. So yeah, I am hoping for a Dragons win, but it's going to be tough because these two teams, they are quite similar. There's not much between them. So I was looking at the URC stats earlier. I don't know if you ever go on the URC website and have a look at the stats, but I had a look at it today. So for attack, and these are teams that are ranked. So obviously 16 teams in the league. So Scarlets are ranked 14th in the league for their attack. The Dragons are 16th. So we got the worst attack in the league. Discipline, Dragons 15th, which isn't great, let's be honest. Scrum is interesting. Dragons rated 15th for this scrum. Where do you think the Scarlets are ranked for this scrum in the league?
They're probably 16th.
Yeah. There's got to be one way or another. Yeah.
No, it's 16th. Yeah. So Scarlets have got the worst scrum in the URC. So it's pretty even between these two teams. And to be honest with you, it could go either way. I do think, though, if Scarlets get back, because I don't know if you've heard anything from me, but I don't know what the state of players with Fea Fafita and Sam Lousy, are they going to be fit? Because if they are, I think that gives Scarlets a slight advantage, and that'll be a big boost for them. But yeah, I think it's just one of those games that could go either way. But like I said, I think Dragons got nothing to worry about too much because they know they can beat the Scarlets and they've had the upper hand in this fixture. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
See, normally when I ask James and I say to James, tell us about a game, and then he spends 10 minutes telling me how shit the Scarlets are. I thought James wasn't on the pod tonight. I thought, okay, we won't get that tonight. And then fucking
I was trying. No, listen, I was trying to give you an overview of where these two teams are and the seasons they've had. And I think I've been fair and balanced. In other words, Scarlets have been shit. Dragons have been shit. That was the point I was trying to get across. Both teams have had really tough seasons.
I think looking on the last couple of games, we have started to improve a little. There's been signs there. We're not getting tonked by 50, 60 points anymore. We're losing games in the last 5-10 minutes or stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm thinking that the corner has been turned, but it's a very, very slow walk up a steep hill at the minute. And yeah, I mean, if all of our players are back, like I say, if it's Lousy and Fafita and Craig, and Tuipulotu's been having a half decent couple of games recently. There's Dan Davis has been pretty solid in defence recently. The signs are looking good. It is purely and entirely, can that front row hold itself up? And we have games where we go, oh, right, okay, or whatever they've done in the off week, sorted, we're back now, and then it just falls to shit again the week after. So you can never really tell. So for me, that's where the interesting bit is it's in that scrum. Can we hold our own in that scrum? Have we got the big boys back? Can we hold our own in the scrum? And then can we just please somebody defend around tight rucks? Because the amount of tries we've given away with people driving on the side of a ruck this year has been absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, for me, I shall be sitting at home with a choice of pina coladas, a choice of martinis,
nice.
some red stuff that I can't remember what it is, strawberry daiquiri, yeah,
good choice.
There's a mango something as well that's just lined up ready for Saturday. I've already discussed with the wife, how certain housekeeping tasks can wait until Sunday. And I'm just going to sit there and I don't care. This is
Do you live in a Wetherspoons with all those with those cocktails? Because that's basically the Wetherspoons cocktail menu.
It's Joe. It's really nice. I've got.
I bet it's almost the same company as well.
There's what's one of those the coffee one, the espresso martini.
Espresso
martini.
Yeah. Espresso martini.
Yeah, so they do them as well. So I'm thinking, do you know what? Balls to it. I'm going for it. And what I used to do when I used to watch the cricket, so I used to, in those days, I had the TV on one of those movable stands, and I could unplug it and replug it. So I used to put it by the patio door, sit out in the garden, and so you could just sit in the garden, get a tan, and watch the thing. Now the telly is on the wall at the wrong end of the room to watch it from outside. So I'm gonna have to be. I might get a little paddling pool, put that in the lounge, and just sit in the paddling pool. Maybe get some inflatable flamingos and palm trees and stuff, and just make it a bit more exotic than what it actually is.
That's your plan, is it?
That's
So my plan will be sat in the Cardiff City Stadium having a pint of overpriced lager in a pack cup, hopefully seeing the Dragons beat the Scarlets. But I tell you the one thing about this fixture I am disappointed in. It's a shame there's nothing writing on this fixture, because if Dragons had managed to pick up a couple of bonus points, this could have been a shootout. As to who finishes the worst Welsh region. Now Dragons can overtake the Scarlets because they're 6 points ahead, and that's a real shame. But we got ourselves to blame for that because we've missed far too many opportunities. But it is a shame now that we can't really overtake the Scarlets, because I felt that this was the season to do it. This should have been the season where Dragons didn't finish worst Welsh region, and we had our opportunities. That's the most frustrating thing. But we haven't been good enough, and we are where we are now. 15th is about right for us. It's disappointing, but like I said, both teams really difficult seasons, and they'll both be desperate to end on a high. So let's hope it's a good game.
But the thing with that is sometimes you have those games where it's just like, right, let's just throw the ball around, and it ends up like 75, 73 and scores like that, ridiculous things, and it just gets a bit pointless after a while. I hope that there's a little bit of an edge in the first 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? There's a little bit of handbags. There's a little bit of makeup tips being discussed in the ruck, and there's a little bit of an edge where somebody starts giving it a little bit of oomph, because otherwise it does just turn into a training match. Like I say, Jim, there's nothing on it. If Dragons are entirely relying on, I suppose they're relying on Zebra not getting anything. I suppose there is the incentive. If Dragons get something out of the game, then Zebra can't catch them. But I just want to see that bit of edge in that first 5-10 minutes. Somebody just having a go with it,
But there is another big incentive as well, because let's not forget Wales's tour to Australia. It's highly likely that Warren Gatland is going to be at the CCS, so players are going to want to perform to get their ticket booked on that plane. So it's down to the Dragons boys to really make a case, and the Scarlets, of course, and the other two teams to put in strong performances and catch Shia Gatland. So, it is quite important, Judgment Day. I still feel it's at the wrong time of the season, and I get the criticisms around it. But in terms of impressing Warren Gatland end the season on a high, it is still pretty important for all four teams, I think, but for different reasons.
It'd be better off a week or two before the autumn, I reckon. There's still a lot riding up. I mean, it'd have been a bit different if Dragons had won against the Ospreys, because then all four regions would have a chance near enough to win the Welsh Shield. So all four teams have something to play for. Now, really, it's only really Dragons avoiding, Cardiff have got nothing really. It's just bragging rights. Scarlets are comfortably ahead, so that they've basically settled 14th. They can't really go any higher. Dragons, it's just not finishing bottom, and then Ospreys have the slimmest of hopes, which could have all been dashed by 3 o'clock of getting into the top 8. So it's again, just a thing. So just the average scoreline for both the Dragons and the Scarlets. So I'm treating you as the home team for these average scorelines. So for the Dragons, it's 17 points to 34. And for the Scarlets, it's 17 points, but to 33. So according to average scores, it's a very close game. So I reckon it'll go either way for you guys.
Yeah.
But always does though in this fixture, though, doesn't there? You never see Scarlets really batter us, and the other way around. I mean, Dragons did beat the Scarlets 50-odd points, but that was in the Rainbow Cup, wasn't it, during COVID? But other than that, they're usually generally tight games.
So, okay, Harley, with after the big game has been on and all of the supporters have left the stadium, and the real key supporters are falling over in the streets of Cardiff. The second game, the the downcoming game, if you like, Cardiff versus Osprey. Who's the home team this year? Cardiff are the home team, aren't they?
We're nominally the
Yeah.
home team.
Yeah.
So not only did we have to play in a quagmire on New Year's Day, we have to now forfeit our home game. So, thanks WRU, great planning.
But your home game is like 10 minutes down the road, mate.
It's longer than 10 minutes.
All right,
There's
it's
no way.
15
Like, if it'd been
minutes
next
down the
door,
road.
that'd have been great,
It's
'cause
not
at
an
least then
hour
they're
up the
pubs and-
M4, is it? Do you know what I mean?
It's fine. I mean, the only thing that really matters is the gate receipts, and like the amount of money that each team gets from it. So I
Mm.
think the two home teams get 40%, and then the two other teams get 10% each.
Mm.
But obviously, there's a lot less gate because everyone's gone. What? You
Yeah.
want us to go into the middle of Leckwith? There's no fucking pubs, man. I can't be arsed with that.
It is a weird
Because let's
walk.
be honest, Judgment Day. This is the first Judgment Day I've missed, apart from like when they didn't put it on for COVID, or whatever.
Mm.
I'm absolutely fucking gutted about it. Until they announced it was at Cardiff City Stadium, and I went, I want to go there. I didn't particularly like going there or want to go there when it was our nominal home ground.
It's a good
it's
car
just-
park, though. They have got a good car park.
Yeah, it's a great car park. I mean,
It's
park
very
there
good.
whenever I went to see Phonics play there.
Yeah, it's a very good park and ride when you're going into the Millennium Stadium. I'll give them that. Car park, top notch.
Great, but again, you're using that to get into the centre of Cardiff where all the
Yeah.
drinking is.
Exactly, yeah. So what
So that's
do you think about the games, Harley?
It's an interesting one because I always feel like Cardiff play a little bit better because it's usually drier conditions and allows us to play our game, and it nullifies Ospreys a little bit more. But Ospreys has started to learn how to actually pass the ball beyond 12, which is passing to 10, but it's just Kieran Williams standing in for crack. But I think they're two teams who are knackered and battered, and there's nothing really on the line of it. Realistically, Ospreys aren't going to get 8. Even if Booth on the Scrum 5 podcast is saying, "Oh, I'm not going to tell him any of the results," it's like these games are going to finish 2 hours before we kick off. They're gonna know. Like I can't see it unless he somehow. I'll say that the signal in the Principality shit. So maybe
CCS. Yeah.
but I know it's a City Stadium, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what's like in Leckwith, to be honest. I don't know. I think because if Cardiff win, we're gonna have all the same Ospreys fans go in. Oh well, Beard was injured, so and so was injured. Oh, blah 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 blah. And if Cardiff lose, we'll have Cardiff fans going, oh yeah, but this we haven't had Thomas Young. He was injured. Thomas Williams is injured, and it's just like, oh, it's just going to be bad vibes. I'll be honest. I'm looking forward to getting the smoker out, doing a big barbecue for the family. So you got the in-laws and stuff coming over. So I probably won't watch the game till Sunday because I have, as I said, this first Judgment Day I've not gone to, and I've never been less excited for one.
So
I'm just not bothered at all. I want the season over.
Here's
It's been a shit season as a Cardiff fan.
Here's a question, right? So normally, the teams that are on first, so us and Dragons, we warm up on the main pitch, and then about half time, the Ospreys and Cardiff warm up on Cardiff pitch. Yeah. Where do they warm up this year?
In the Mamas and Papas.
No, so there isn't. There is.
I presume there must be a
pitch.
training warm-up pitch or something.
Yeah.
Is the
I mean,
athletics?
the athletic field's not too far away.
Yeah, that's like
so.
a 5-10 minute walk, but they're not going to fucking walk over. Like you do in school, where your school pitch is like down the road and cross over and catch a bus, and then it's 10 minutes up the hill.
You forget what Cardiff were doing when they first left the Vale, like they left the Vale or whatever it was. When they were training up there, and they would basically they'd get segways or electric scooters up to Sophia Gardens to go train on there from Cap, and then back down again. So properly playing the home advantage. You've got to train in our conditions as well.
Yeah,
the gym will basically be someone's home gym. They've managed to ship into the back of the Land Rover.
it does.
Judgment Day isn't always popular, though, is it, with supporters? Because I know the regional diehards, they've never liked Judgment Day because they complain about losing a home game. And again, I get it. And the criticism about it being in Leckwith, again, I get that. It's not going to be ideal that we're going to have to, drink in a seat centre and walk down to the CCS. It's not that far, but it's like you're going out your way, whereas it's in the Principality Stadium, you fall out of a pub and you're in the stadium. So it's just big step here. I think, exactly, yeah. I think Judgment Day, though, it is what you make it. So I am looking forward to Day on Saturday because I was umming and ahhing about whether to go, and I said to you boys, I really don't know if I fancy it, but I'm looking forward to it now because obviously the missus is coming with me. James is going to be there, so I'm going to meet him. Gavin from the Dragon Slayer pod, he's going to be there, so we're going to have a pod meetup. I got a few mates as well that I'm meeting down there, so we're going to have a good day. It's not ideal, this in the CCS, and it's not ideal that all 4 teams are struggling, and, Welsh rugby is a little bit doom and gloom at the moment, but we're still going to make a good day of it. So, I am looking forward to it, but it will be interesting to see what the ticket sales are because, well, I've seen it with my own eyes. There's a lot of freebies flying around at the moment and a lot of competitions and tickets on sale. So, it'd be interesting.
It's looking like it's going to be less than the combined average for Cardiff and Scarlets this season.
But if you
which is a worry.
If you really want to have some fun, James, you get James in a pub, and Hugh is going to be there as well. So you get Hugh in the pub, and you put them opposite each other, and you go, so I hear the Scarlets and Ospreys emerging. And then you walk out the door and then just watch them from outside. Yeah, get your camera out and then send it to me because that would be a fun conversation to see. Yeah, right. Let's so before we do predictions, Harley, give us where we are in terms of because we said we were going to do double points for this weekend, didn't we?
Yeah,
so instead of 4
games, I felt like double. This last, there's a lot riding on it.
Okay, so where are we in the league? Yeah.
So 4th place is James with 131. Then we've got Lee in 3rd with 135. Jamie on 165, which is only 9 points behind me on 174. So bear in mind, if you get both, if you get top on both predictions, that's 16 points.
But if you come bottom on both predictions, that's 4 points. So the lowest that you would finish on, Harley, would be 178, wouldn't it? Yeah. If you got both of them, if you were the furthest out on both of them, you would finish on 178. And Jamie, if you had 16 points, where did you say you are now?
165. So it's only 9 points behind. So it would be enough. That would be 12 points.
That
would be 12 points more.
I think
so there is something on it.
I think we found the edge to the game, boys. I think we.
This is more exciting than Judgment Day itself, isn't it?
This is what it boils down to. You boys.
And then there's a wonderful bronze final going on as well between yourself and James.
I'm fucking having him. I'm not having that. I was pissing around in the middle of the season. I thought, let's just have a bit of fun and everything by one and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then
Mark gave you a good round, and then you had a fantastic round 17.
Right, okay. But this is what I did last year. I won this last year, basically, on the last 2 rounds. I did.
I wasn't a main pod member last season.
Don't give me that shit, Harley. Yeah, I won this last year, mate. So, okay, let's do predictions then. Go on, Harley. This is your little bit to do anyway. I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, so I'll go through predictions. So because James couldn't be here, he very graciously sent me his predictions because otherwise I was going to make them up for him and he would have just not been happy. So James has gone for Dragons by 4 and Ospreys by 5, and then with a little message saying, Cardiff and Scarlets suck lols. True regions faux life. Exact wording of the message.
That's such a James comment as
well. So Lee, you've put yours down. So do you want to go through your two predictions, then we'll go on to Jamie?
Yeah, so I'm going to go Scarlets by 8. Purely, I did go Scarlets by 3, and then I thought, then if I'm predicting Scarlets by 3, then I'm going to say that Dragons are going to get a point out of it. So purely to irritate Jamie, I've gone Scarlets by 8 in the hope that the Dragons get nothing out of the game whatsoever. And similarly, Cardiff Ospreys, I've gone Cardiff by 15. Purely just to irritate Ospreys listeners and just to go, oh, they're never going to do it. Yeah, I think that Cardiff will put at least 15 more points on you because you've got players injured, you're tired, you played more games, blah, 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 blah. Fuck off. I think Cardiff are going to actually turn up on Saturday in the Ospreys. Well, simple as that. So that's my two.
Before we go on to James' prediction, Lee, you're on the spreadsheet, so you can see. So you can see that I've put my predictions in. So I'm not changing them just to try and game Jamie here. So Jamie, what are your predictions?
My predictions. I'm going Dragons by 2. I'm going Dragons just about edge it. Lee, when was the last time Scarlets did? When's the last time the Dragons did the double over the Scarlets? Do you know this?
1850. No, I don't know, James.
We weren't existed then, mate. It was in the
It's only going
Magnus
20
League
years, mate.
era.
Magnus
League era.
Wow.
Yeah. So the last time that the Dragons did the double over the Scarlets.
Well, that'd been the season you came like second or third or something. Was it that season?
A little bit after that.
I should know because it was in the Christmas quiz that I did. So, okay. Right. Yeah. So go on then. Your predictions are Dragons by
2. So Cardiff Ospreys, James.
The answer, by the way, was 2007 to 2008 was the last time that
okay.
Dragons did the double over Scarlets. My prediction for Cardiff. See, this is a tough one for me because do you remember Judgement Day last season? It was a similar scenario. The Ospreys needed a bonus point victory then, didn't they, for their playoff hopes? And they were absolute dog shit. They didn't turn up. And Thomas Young ran riot. That was quite rightly playing the match. So it should be Ospreys. They are the better team. However, I am leaning towards Cardiff, and I don't know why. There's something telling me that Cardiff's going to win this game. I do think they have an advantage with it being at the CCS because they know the conditions. They played at the CCS before, as we know. So I'm going to go Cardiff.
I don't think there's any player on that pitch who played at the CCS.
I know, but I just got a feeling that they'll know what to expect. They'll know what to expect, though, won't they? So I'm going to go Cardiff by 5. It's in Cardiff, so they.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right, so I've gone again basically on vibes because I think it is that close. It's flip going. I've gone for Scarlets by 2. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling that they're timing it just right. You know, their packs actually started to work. Plumtree's, best player in Wales and the world according to Catboy. So, by far, just too good for any other team on there. I think if they start Costello, my big worry for Scarlets, and they sort of echoed it on Scarlets Fever last night. If they're using it as just a farewell tour for some of their cropped and unloved, that could cause some problems. But I think if they take it seriously as a game that they actually want to win, then I think they've got to go. Then I think they've got a chance of beating Dragons.
If they announce the
Dragons
team,
are great at dragging teams into the gutters, and if they play like that, I think they could turn around. But I'm going to stick with Scarlets by 2. And then
if Scarlets announce Scott Williams at 12 and Foxy at 13, then
Dragons by 26.
Hugh is going to be all over the place. I told you. See. Sorry, Ali. Go on, mate.
Yeah. And for the big game, I've gone for Cardiff by 3. I just think that Sharks victory, I think, is going to help. I think it's given some confidence. Probably going to be more like the team we've seen all season, but I'm hoping that now things are starting to click, and even when the attack isn't necessarily firing, we can front up and hold. I think with the Ospreys, as long as you can sort of hold your own in the set piece, it sort of limits what they do elsewhere. But I think as long as we keep lineouts out of the equation, we should be fine.
Cool.
Minimal lineouts.
Cool. So the bit I'm gonna miss this year is Carwin. Is not going with Carwin and not losing Carwin halfway through and seeing him pop up in the Ospreys bloody hospitality lounge and things like that. So I think he's still going to be there.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so, because I just have this horrible feeling that he's going to end up on scrum 5 or something. You know when they do the vox pop outside?
Vox pops, yeah.
Yeah, he's got that kind of a vibe about him. So I do miss that amount with Carwyn not being there. Okay, so that's it for this week, gents. Is there anything special coming on any of the feeder pods, or is it all Judgment Day related? Harley, have you got a special bonus pod coming this week or next week with you?
We've got one coming this week because we were going to do it after Judgment Day. Unfortunately, the new word on the grapevine is that the Wales squad's going to be released on Monday. So I said we'll probably just react to that, I think, as opposed to us talking about it now, really, because I think that's only fair. Yeah, so we're going to try and do, me and Hugh are going to go through some of the stats of the URC. So it's probably just going to be the URC bait, the Welsh-based players. And we're going to go purely on stats. They've got to have played a certain threshold. So you'd be surprised some of the players who are going to miss out entirely. And it's not because we don't think they're any good. It's just because we've set a threshold and said if they haven't played more than this many minutes, you're going to, we're not counting them. So, it's a bit unfair on some of the World Cup players and some of the players have been injured. But that's just a way that we can, because if you only play 1 or 2 games, your stats can shoot up really high just for 1 or 2 games and then come back down. A bit like with Cardiff this season after the Boxing Day game of the Dragons. We ended up like 3rd best attack for 6 weeks, for 6 rounds because it skewed our average try scored that high. Yeah, so we're just going to go through that. Cardiff Central Pod, so it's going to be just me and Dan this week, but we're going to announce our end of season awards,
which is far more important than the actual Cardiff Awards. This is the Dogs Bollocks Awards. This is where
these
real...
are the inaugural.
Yeah.
These are the ones
the
polls for those are out on the Cardiff Central X page because I really cannot be asked making that many Twitter polls on Facebook, that many polls on Facebook. So if you are one of the Facebook things, just you don't have to. I don't even think you need an account to vote on these polls because the security is so loose because of Muskie Boy. Just go vote for your favorite, or just message the pod what your choices are for all the different categories, and we'll add them to the tallies.
Cool. But Jamie, anything special coming this week?
Yes, recording the Dragon's Lair pod tomorrow night. We have a guest joining us. Writer and Scarlet supporter Rhiannon Garth Jones will be joining me and Gav to preview the Scarlet's Dragons game and just have a little bit of a chat about the season in general. So looking forward to that one. That'll be Wednesday
that is
night.
Well to listen. Rhi is very good value for money. She's absolutely fantastic on pods.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Fantastic. And I think Ospreys will be doing the same usual stuff that they do on Thursday. Probably looking back at a couple of Judgment Day fixtures, and the Scarlet's Fever podcast is out already. And there's a little bit of a quiz in there, a little bit of a look back onto 7 years ago. So 7 years ago yesterday, or 7 years ago day before, which was when we won the title. So yes, lovely. So okie dokie, there we go then, gents. We are done for another week. Happiness and joy all around. We will come back and do it again next week, one last time, where everyone will have their lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, and will have shaved various bits of their body with it.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get going, to be honest. Where's my kit?
I can't wait to have a go at the weed whacker.
I can't. My
nose hair trimmer, if you don't know that terminology.
My 15-year-old daughter opened the package. Dad, and she opened the box and she held the box.
Have friends, did she? She didn't have friends over with her because that would have been extra mortifying.
No, but she just held the box up and she kind of looked at me and went, what's this? I'm like, oh yeah, it's to do with the podcast stuff. So anyway, yes, we'll be doing that as well next week. So have a very good week, one and all. Thank you for joining me tonight, gents. It has been a pleasure as always. Enjoy your rugby. I shall see you next week. All the best.
Take care. Bye.
That's now.